All right, we're leaving the cemetery. We're gonna drive down a road that has a lot of historical houses on it, and one of those houses is the Tate House. Now, I couldn't find the exact house, and it wouldn't do a lot of good anyway because it is a private residence now. You can't go inside. Several, I believe, different tenants live in there. Excuse me. Live in there nowadays, but that's a haunted house. And I heard a story firsthand about that house. So I heard that story from a young lady who experienced it. She works at the Athens Public Library, Athens and Clark County Public Library. And she lived in that house. She used to live here in Milledgeville. She went to Georgia College. And in that house, in the Tate House, and some folks call it the Random House, I couldn't find signs of either name on the map, but I know it's somewhere around this neighborhood. We're turning on this street right now. Somewhere around here is that house. Now, it's an old historic house, and the story goes back to the former owner, the meanest man in Georgia, they called him. He had 3 different wives. They all died. And some folks say that nobody proved anything, but some folks say that it was foul play. Some folks say that that's not a good angle for the camera. The sun's right there. Let's just hold it right here. I need to get better equipment. Now, the young lady I spoke with, the librarian, she didn't know any of that history. She just knew it was haunted. She lived upstairs. She rented the upstairs section. And she and her friends, they would come back from a night on the town, and they would hear, very often, they would hear a sound coming down those stairs, like thumping. Like, she said, almost like somebody rolling a bowling ball down the stairs, something just thumping its way all the way down those stairs. And the first couple times they thought it was another tenant, but they would go open the door, look out there, nobody else was around. Sometimes they saw the chandelier hanging over that staircase. That chandelier would be swinging back and forth, and nobody was around. Now, the history behind, is this a turn lane? I shouldn't be recording and doing this at the same time. Maybe I should pull over. Let's pull over for a second. Okay. So, residential parking only. We'll put on my blinkers. Oh, it's so hot in Georgia. Oh, Meg, yeah. So, this happened a bunch. Now, I asked her if she ever decided to look into the history of that, and she said no, she didn't even want to know. Didn't want to know who had lived there, what had happened there, but she knew there was a presence, there was something in that house. I know it was one of these houses. I mean, look around here. It was one of these houses, like, I found a photo. It could even be that one. It kind of had that look to it. One of these old historic houses. Now, I've looked up a book of ghost stories from mostly here in Milledgeville, and apparently that old house, it was owned by the meanest man in Georgia. Guy, 3 of his wives died. Very cruel man, cruel to everybody in his household. Now, the story goes that he sent his son away to medical school. And then his son came back. There was a meningitis outbreak. His son got sick. He came back. He wasn't feeling well. And the man said, that's not true. You're just being lazy. Get onto the fields. Go supervise the farm work out there. Son went out, came back a couple days later. He said, Dad, I really can't do it. The doctor came to look at the son. He said, this boy is sick. The man said, it's a lie. It's not true. So eventually the son was standing at the top of that staircase, and he called out to his dad. He said, Dad, I think I'm going to die. And at that moment, he fell headfirst forward, hit the stairs headfirst, and tumbled down those stairs. And according to that book, people who live in that house hear the sound of that body rolling down those stairs, tumbling down over and over for all eternity. Let's get out of the way of this car. So I wish I could have found the actual house, but it was somewhere around this neighborhood. If you know where the Tate House is in Milledgeville, please let me know. In the meantime, let's take a look around here. So, that is the ghostly story of the Tate House.